Shotguns not working. Weapon recoil non-existent. Getting wallbanged through 2 walls? If this sounds like due process, then it is. However, there are some silver linings. Over the course of the weekend, we have managed to get our hands on Weapon Field 2.0. This update changes the game dramatically. Shotguns now work, and you won't be seeing yourself being wallbanged through 2 walls. Lots in this update have changed, including weapon recoil animations, as well as animations to do with the weapons, and the biggest change of all, no more wallbanging. In the background here you will be seeing one of my highlights from one of the streams I did showcasing Weapon Field 2.0. You might notice some differences with how the weapons act and control throughout the match. You might be asking yourself what changed to do with the shotguns. Well, first of all, they've changed the spread on the actual shotgun pellet itself. So no longer is it a cross, it has now become a pyramid shape. One of the biggest factors for this change was due to how attackers use the shotguns. Shotgunning a door from skylight or from even through a window was common practice for high level players, and this became a problem when it was brought down into the casual pit. This defeated the purpose of bringing a door charge and a clacker or even a wall charge and a clacker to open these doors, and the developers, they weren't big fans of it, so it had to go. And rightfully so, it was just too strong. Though still possible to do, the range at which you can do it has been severely decreased. Therefore, you kind of need to be standing on top of the actual door to be able to do this tactic again. Still works, just you have to be a little bit closer for that action. One of the reasons why shotguns felt frustrating to use was the fact that you couldn't brace fire and rack the shotgun at the same time. They had to be done independently. However, with this update, that has all changed, and now you can brace and rack the shotgun at the same time. So you effectively can squeeze off 2 shots to kill your opponent now. Recoil has changed a lot as well. Some weapons have more recoil, others have very little. In the current state of the game, weapons feel like they don't have much recoil at all. This is both a plus as well as a negative, due to the required skill level of each individual player. Each weapon now feels lifelike and full of character. Some weapons got hit harder than others. The KR suffers now from very high recoil, whereas weapons like the Ingmar, the Black Tar and the AP25 still have their lower recoil values, but their brace fire is slightly worse. The Saber has probably one of the most controversial changes of all, however. The per shot recoil has increased drastically, making those follow-up shots a lot harder. This, I think, was intended to balance the nature of the Saber, whereas in the current live patch, it's a very dominant weapon for those longer range engagements, and now it gives time for the Black Tar to finally rise up and claim its rightful place. Penetration as a whole has also been hit with a pretty heavy nerf. No longer do we get the sound effects of hitting people through walls, and the headshot multiplier, well, simply just doesn't exist if you're punching through a single target. Maps like Kill House are going to see the biggest impact of this change, because you can no longer shoot through those very thin walls and laser people after you get one little dink. The overall impact is yet to be seen, but from what I've heard through players and through developers, this is a welcome change to everyone. CStore will see some changes as well. No more will you be sitting in the teller with that leg roast and the super shotty. Now you're going to be more aware of what you can and can't shoot through, as well as where your opponents would be positioning. Barbed wire is still effective for this method, but is only 2x1 gap, remember, so keep an eye out for those. Factory saw the least change here. The only place that I saw wallbanging being used properly was always toxic around the metal fencing. With the hip sounds gone, I don't think we'll be seeing too much of that, though there will still be the odd occasional pick through those metal fencing walls. Penetration was changed as well. There is now no longer a headshot multiplier through a wall, so you can't be getting those lucky one-tap headshots with the morp now. I'm looking at you, Killhouse. There was also some other general changes as well. Matchmaking as a whole has been slightly redone to add an option where we can now queue for ranked whilst inside a casual match. This, however, I don't think addresses the underlying issue with ranked currently, that there being no reward or incentive to actually play ranked other than getting a little number when you queue into ranked the next time you try. The issue with ranked stems from the ability to 5-stack into the game. This can make new players find it a very daunting experience to try out every now and then. There have been many suggestions within the community to limit the size of players actually playing in a party together, as well as having a separate queue for those that wish to party up and those that wish to solo. However, I don't think this actually addresses the issue at hand. I believe that if the developers wish to make ranked more accessible to players, they need to provide an incentive and a reward for those that play ranked competitively. To further this, currently we have the leaderboard system. However, it's kind of inflated by all the players who play in the DPL and even some that don't even play the game anymore. To remedy this, I believe that we need a ranked reset, at least for the leaderboard anyway, as this would allow newer players to be able to actually claim the leaderboards and maybe see themselves in that coveted spot right at the top as number 1. Alongside these matchmaking changes, we did see a fix to hitboxes and their sounds as false feedback, as well as now that we don't have to actually all ready up if you are in a party in order to play a match. Only one person needs to hit that checkbox and you're off searching for that match. A lot of these changes are welcomed by the community. Some, however, are not so inviting, the KR change being one of the most talked about and feared changes of them all. I myself am looking forward to what the future holds for due process and the actual vision of the developers. To summarize, I feel like the update needs just a little bit more fine tuning, maybe a few more weeks still developing and testing things, as well as opening a few more weekends up so that people can actually have a go, feel and give feedback on those changes. We as a community want nothing but the game to strive and be the best that it can be. Allowing us to give our feedback and input helps not only us understand where you are coming from as a developing team, but also so that you can see what we like and don't like about the changes. Overall, I feel like this update is very solid and brings a welcome but needed change to due process and its gunplay. Not too many of the core mechanics have disappeared, some have been improved on, others slightly toned back a bit due to how strong they were, but overall the update is going to be pretty good. And remember guys, bang before you clear.